All right, so first of all, how it's going to work. Please scan the QR code with your phone. You will get access to an application called Slido where you can ask her the questions. We will see them and be able to answer to them. What happened? The QR code lasts 30 seconds. No, all right, so it's still there, just different location. All right. So we have a bit of a various audience here, so we can take, I guess, from technical to more product questions. Yeah. And please ask also some commercials. All right. So let's start with something easy. So, Ondřej, your hiring spree is going all rage. So why should I join Sharry as a data analyst, even if CPO can immediately replace me with Snowflake AI capabilities?
Okay, nice question. Where to take this from? I think you got it the other way around, whoever asked the question. I think in the end, the data analyst or the person will build AI to replace me. So on a more serious note, like the data is a foundation and the context is a foundation for any solution in AI. So to answer the meta question, I don't think anyone in data could or even should or even could be worried about being replaced by AI because the AI is just a dump model without the right context and the right data. So.
Well, actually, I think this question is a bit deeper because I think this year a lot of us are scratching our head, what will we be doing next year, right? I mean, I remember myself when I was trying Cursor the first time, it was December this year, and I thought like, whoa, it behaves like a junior. Then Claude 377 come by, and it was like, whoa, 30% IQ increase in 2 months. And today we have completely viable use cases where basically coding is totally automated. So what do you think like is going to be the human essence of work like next year?
I think it's gonna, like, the curve is clear. You've described it. I think the amount of the length of a task that AI is able to do autonomously doubles every 7 months. How much is that? So that I think, if I recall correctly, gives us still a few years. So I think next year we're going to be doing the same things. We're just going to be doing them a lot more effectively with a lot more help from AI. I've played a lot with AI, with different models, applications, and that moment when AI will replace us, or maybe we'll be able to do the same things as we do, but better, I think it's still relatively far away from my perspective. Much further than it seems from like a sexy demos. It's somewhere there. I'm personally not concerned. I think the human essence will change. I don't know how. I don't have the crystal ball. What is clear is that every one of us, I think, will be way more effective and efficient.
Thank you. Maybe Adam, would you add something to it? Do you plan to automate us all?
For the AI? The context?
Yeah, of course. Like, come on, you just put together Snowflake intelligence, so who should we do analysis for now?
This is a very tricky question to be asked to a vendor. Very tricky. So I'll only refer to my personal experience. So I'm writing science fiction books. I haven't published yet, so I go to the drawer, right? So effectively, the narrative of these books is not very pleasant for the humankind, right? So that's number one. Number two, I have 2 boys, 2 sons, 23 and 28 years old. And a month ago, so my son was departing his apartment, moving to the other apartment. He had the farewell party, and there were a couple of guys ex-students of, I said, 2 years graduates. They all students of the Warsaw University of Technology. So supposedly, they were supposed to be mechanical engineering guys. All of them convert to junior programmers, right? And they asked me what you do for a living, and they knew I was a father of their friend. They say, I'm a sales guy. And they said, oh, it's the best work in the world. You got the best job in the world. So why are you saying this? A salesperson is not a highly, it's sort of not of a high social standing, in my opinion, right? And they say, no, it's reverse.
Well, you're in the Czech Republic. I think this nation is very known for having good engineers and terrible salespeople.
But it's a scary scenario when these young people tell you so, and I ask them, why are you saying this? And they say, well, our jobs will be taken away because we're juniors, we're 28, and the space for us is tiny and tiny and tinier. It's really going down. So I don't know. I mean, seriously, I don't know. But as I said, I'm in a tricky position because we are the ones behind this process too.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe before we start to the next one, I need to ask. I mean, the head-on competition is clear, right? So now you won Fortune Future 50 with BCG naming you the hottest technological company on the planet, which is great for us. But I still see like Databricks eating more and more market share. So what's the strategy?
Who? Huh? What? Databricks, yes. So, okay, so here is my response to this. So first of all, okay, there are many ways to tackle the subject, but one is very clear. Databricks positioning in the market comes from two angles, in my opinion, right? The first angle is the Spark world, right? And they were really, they are really in a position to absorb mindset of a customer coming from this angle and absorb mindset of people that were living in Spark from very, very early days. So they graduated from the schools they went into, and then all of a sudden you've got this nice Databricks thing to play with, right? So obviously there is a very strong foundation for the existence. The second thing is, since the very beginning, they were carried in someone else's backpack. It's called Microsoft, right? And as we all know, they have first of all, Microsoft is a company of a very high standing, very high reputation. It's a great company, right? It's very well known and etc. But they were actually, and effectively, they were the gear to move them into the market. But here is the good news. So we went to bed in Prague on the 30th of June, and we woke up in Bangkok on the 1st of July, when it comes to our relationship with Microsoft. So on the 1st of July, what happened, our company understood we need that gear, and we have commercially engaged with Microsoft to the extent that it's way more powerful than anyone else's. Right, so believe it or not, but then we start this process here in Prague, but in Warsaw, currently, Microsoft is very, very, very interested in the projects that we deploy and the projects that we work on. And we see something that have never been seen, actually reverse interest. So they're knocking on our door, saying, okay, so we would like to talk to you about this, and that. And all of a sudden they position to the portfolio which they can offer as Databricks is a third-party product for them that's integrated in a stack, but it's still the third-party product. Became all of a sudden neutral. So the big wind in sail is actually ending. So finally, these two companies, they will have a sort of an equal position, a balanced position to act in the marketplace.
All right. Well, to be honest, I feel like being part of a weird technological Highlander movie right now. So there can be only one at the end. So I'm quite curious how this will unfold. And also I'm quite curious what will happen with Microsoft next year. And still I'm wondering why they do this when they have all these wonderful products.
No clue. I don't know. Seriously, I don't know.
All right. Okay, so a bit more of the technological one, and I really like that because I was asking this 6 months ago. Because to be honest, like moving 5,000 jobs to Airflow without any automation sounds like a bit of a flagellant work. So, Ondřej, could you share if DBT has part of your setup with Airflow and Snowflake?
In the future, yes. Not now. As I was explaining a little bit in the talk, basically, we have also some technical depth, and it seemed like it would be like too big effort or maybe too big project to actually try to move from Kebula, solve the data types, use the Airflow, and then also DBT. So that's definitely on the roadmap. And once basically we are kind of like migrated with all the SQL transformations from Kebula, then we will definitely be doing something with DBT. And Giuliano is asking about it all the time, so so we will have to do something.
All right. Maybe just to the technical stuff. Could we have, please, the question there so people can upvote them? So I don't know. Okay, cool. By the way, if you haven't noticed, you can move the question up by putting your votes in the application, so they will jump upwards. All right. Okay, Snowflake guys, this is also interesting. Like, to be honest, we have been lately seeing you doing quite a consolidation of the stack, right? So we've seen you acquiring OpenFlow, which seems to me that you're changing your position of being neutral in the ETL space. We've seen also some other capabilities like this document stuff and AI stuff, and you have MLOps. So you're going more and more to be like a full platform for everything data. Though still, I don't see there like an easy orchestrator. So guys are asking, any plans to have tasks, pipes, orchestration in a bit more UI visual mode? You can pass the microphone if you like.
So, yes, I'm a sales guy.
Actually, we already started. So we started with dynamic tables, and there was a graph visualization. Now you have a graph visualization for streams and tasks. We are progressing with this because in terms of OpenFlow, you are absolutely right. We have also visualization in terms of lineage, and we extend this lineage visualization for OpenFlow components. Some of these features are in public preview at the moment, so you can test it. But generally speaking, we know the message. And majority of my clients, I'm focused on the FSI vertical. I don't want to say 100%, and actually the question is really valid because they use DBT and Apache Airflow. And this is really powerful mixture. And I want to just pass the last message that we just announced DBT inside Snowflake. So we're definitely hearing the voice of the customers. If they want to start quickly with DBT without any servers, etc., everything in Snowflake, it is possible. In terms of streams and tasks, it's really powerful. We are progressing with this graph approach. Airflow is a wonderful product, market standard. You can host Airflow inside Snowflake because of containers, and many clients are doing it. Or you can, if you want to speed up, you can buy Astronomer from Marketplace, 5 clicks, and you are able to use it.
All right, thank you. Yes?
Just to add on one thing. So, because you mentioned, Giuliano, you've mentioned the number of features and right? It's like, if you look into the last 2 years, what happened, actually 1 year, so there is a hockey stick in general availabilities of multiple features. And it's like the platform goes not only, within a certain selected piece of space of its or bucket of functionalities, but it really goes across into so many multiple directions, right? So you wouldn't consider us, you would be considering us like 2 or 3 years ago as a data warehouse, right? Or someone may say a database. It's entirely untrue today. If you look at what is really happening, so 40% of our customers, 40% of the customer base, they already have AI in action. Some of them, 25%. Every 4th customer uses that in production. So Wojtek gave an example of the 2nd largest Polish insurer that effectively grabbed the market from #1 competitor just by employing Cortex, right? So So this is like, and also in the context of a question to the competitor, and I shut up, it is our prime competitor. It is like we coming from two different angles, right? Someone came from Spark space and an ML space, and we came from data warehouse, and there is a fierce competition between these two companies. The dynamic of a customer, of the growth of a clientele, the customer base, is very similar. So nobody knows how it's going to end up with. We believe it's going to end up with us, and that is what the market believes. They said, Forbes, or whoever said, Fortune said, it's #1 company in the world when it comes to the future, right? It's a big task and opinion. But really, what happens within Snowflake, it's the way I see it, it's just becoming a bigger and never-ending lake of possibilities. So grow in every direction. I think that is really great, and that is why they gave us this #1.
Okay, cool. Well, I have a couple of more questions regarding that, but let's have other to speak also. So there's a couple of questions here. So, for example, first of all, I would like to go. So, what are Data Sensei and Rohlík actually doing under the hood? We have more questions around that. Also, like, what are the skills of 50 people using Snowflake? So, maybe could you tell us a bit about your daily life?
Yeah, regarding the Data Sensei or generally AI, we will also have some meetup in Rohlík in maybe, I don't know, 2-3 months. It actually should have been last week, but we didn't make it. So there will be definitely some more talks about Data Sensei. And generally, so Data Sensei actually started as a vibe-coded application in our internal hackathon in Streamlit, connected to Snowflake, where we basically kind of like added few tables, added some comments on top of the table, so the LLM models had some context, and then it was connected to some LLM model, and it just created the query on top of the Snowflake and returned the results. So that was the beginning. And since then, so this was, I think, in March or April this year. Since then, it was like 5 times rewritten. So comment on the AI developers or being replaced by the AI, still the code is not that great. So anyway, now basically where we are, we have Data Sensei as a backend application kind of. We have frontend for it, which is in Streamlit, and we have Slack integration, so anybody can use it from our communication tool. And basically under the hood, you send the question to the Data Sensei. It then calls several LLMs. It gets data from the semantic layer, so basically gets some information in JSON or YAML or XML, depending on the model, with all the tables that it might use for the queries, all the columns, and some context, and some initial prompt. And then all this is sent to some LLMs. There are done some validations, and the LLMs provide SQL query. It's again validated and then sent against the Snowflake. Then it returns the result, and you should have hopefully reasonable answer to your question. So that's what it does now. Probably it will be connected to some more MCPs, so it will not only give you the answers on the questions about the data, but also about the code itself or how are some metrics calculated. But under the hood, generally, it's just some Python application calling a lot of LLMs and then sending queries into the Snowflake.
Right. I have actually a question regarding that, because the space is moving so fast. I mean, we had this experiments in February this year about trying to ask LLM questions. It was full of hallucinations. Then we got specialized models, or like better trained models from like the main vendors. Now Snowflake has come with Snowflake Intelligence, which probably solves some issues regarding that. And it's moving so fast that, to be honest, like anything we built 3 months ago today is probably obsolete. So, and that's maybe a question to you. How should we treat this? Like, or no, but you would be the better. Like, are you using like a specialized model, or are you using Snowflake Intelligence? What's your take on that? Like, what should be our approach if we would be starting building this today?
Yeah. So basically, we have some kind of like a gate for all the possible LLMs via Light LLM, and then basically we have access to a lot of models hosted in AWS, Google, Azure, whatever. And so basically we can choose, I would say, whatever model we want. And I think this is currently the best approach because something new appears on the market and we are not bound to any specific vendor. We just, I know that when there was the DeepSeek hype, we were also like, okay, should we connect to it? Because if it gives you good results, it's only logical that you will use it. The only issue is that, of course, when you use different model, your current solution can break. So we saw it with data sensei as well. We had like 80% accuracy with I think we were using AWS Bedrock, some of the models. And then we changed the model to, I think, Gemini. And the accuracy on the question that we had in data sensei went like 20% down. And it was like, okay, we need to rework the prompts and the inputs to make it good again.
Okay, thank you. So I think you will be on the rooster because most questions are about Rohlík. So please, guys, help me a bit also with the other speakers. But okay, let's go for the next more popular one. So if I understand correctly, like Kebula is quite a full-fledged platform, right? There's like extractors, orchestration, it's all in one, easy to use. Now they have even the MCP servers. But evidently, like changing the platforms also raised the question of the extractors. So did you move the extractors out, or what's your take on this?
Not yet, or maybe not. Looking for OpenFlow, how it will work. So now, because of the migration, we didn't want to like move everything. So still, and I think the Kebula extractors are actually really good. And for our use case, it's just like easy to set up and it works. So obviously, yeah, we could build our own extractors and run it in Airflow. But then the question is, of course, like what overhead there will be, how much time we would have to spend on, maintenance. So now we are staying in Kebula with extractors, and some extractors are very specific. So we will probably don't want to spend time on writing that on our own. Example, we use NetSuite for our finance team. I don't know why we should bother like writing extractor for that. We can just reuse what's in Kebula. So that's one thing, and the second thing, I think it was mentioned in the talk as well. We are experimenting with DuckDB, which is something that is also quite popular now in the data world, and we are using it for a specific case where we need to join data from like different databases within one query. But it actually can be nice tool for our extractors as well because, as I mentioned, Rohlík operates in 5 countries. And luckily, all the countries use the same systems, so the database for all the countries is the same. And what we usually do that when we download some data from database, we actually union all the tables into one table, so we have all countries in one table, because then everything that we do in Snowflake, we can do for all the countries where we operate. And in Kebula, it means that basically we need to have like six different configurations to actually download data from all the countries and make one final table out of it. And so, for example, with DuckDB, this can be basically done in one query very easily. And one configuration, so it's easy for maintenance. So maybe this will be the way where we will move. But again, looking for Snowflake and OpenFlow, what's going to be there.
I'm quite curious, did anyone have an experience with OpenFlow or NiFi? 1, 2, well, you should work better on making it more popular.
So, OpenFlow is quite new. We developing connectors mainly in Poland. So we have a lot of connectors in public preview at the moment. Some of them are on GA. It's not only about the connectors like Oracle connector or Postgres connector, MySQL connector. It's also business connectors. And we have a connector to SharePoint. We have a connector to this metaversum. Someone asked about the Fabric, etc. So yes, we have clients which try to experiment with Fabric. If they need really strong performance, they moving data to Snowflake, calculate and go back to the process via this connector. And we have some of them in production, like for example, the biggest Polish financial broker. Yeah. So we are progressing. This is quite new. and I strongly encourage you to follow the our webpage and our meetup group also, because a lot of announcements from Poland are coming regarding these OpenFlow connectors. And I encourage you to build your own OpenFlow connector, because it is also possible based on Apache NiFi experience. You can easily build something which is hosted in Snowflake, or if you prefer, it can be hosted in your cloud, even on-prem. Yeah, so it's possible, and it's quite new. However, it's heavily stepping in, and I believe this is a part of the new future.
Thank you. All right. So to rotate a bit, how big is the team in Sharry? What are the plans in terms of expanding on the market?
Okay. So Sharry is about 40 people, somewhere there. In terms of expanding the market, Apple Wallet cards are a thing today. Not sure if you noticed, Apple opened together with payment cards that have been there for a long time. You can now have access card in your Apple Wallet, so that's one of the primary features we're selling, and that's helping us tremendously. Our clients are all around the globe. We started to pivot to enterprise companies, or focus also on enterprises, along with the buildings that we already had product solution for about 2 years ago, maybe slightly more than that. In enterprise, the sales are notoriously slow, so it takes time. But we're starting to see the fruits of that effort. So a lot of us to build still in that enterprise segment. Like, it is something where it's not like we would take what we have and just use it. So the journey is there. That said, I'm very enthusiastic, just judging by the global customers that we're signing these days. So.
Right, and
answer the question.
There's one other protocol about protocols using in Sharry except Bluetooth and
Yeah, that's a that's a
NFC. This is really technical.
This is
By
very
the way, who is
technical.
asking?
I sense someone with
Because
experience.
I think this should be one-to-one connection.
I'm sensing.
Is there?
Sensing someone with experience from the. There's basically two main technologies. One is Bluetooth, which is an older solution that has been there for years, and is to be very frank, we discourage clients from it today. And then there is NFC, which is new. It's basically the same experience as Apple Pay. So that's like 10 times better. That said, in some cases and some circumstances, it still makes sense to use the BLE cards. But overall, Apple specifically, and now also Android Wallet, provide like significantly better experiences. I sense someone having used the BLE card probably in the audience.
So, all right, thank you. So I'll try, to be honest, this is the most heterogenic panel discussion I ever led, and it's quite difficult. So I'll try to wrap a couple of topics. One that, to be honest, is quite dear to me. I mean, we were talking about this holy grail since 2020 when you came up with the Unistore with Snowflake. When came up with the Unistore with this promise to have this OLTP workloads in the same space as everything else. Now we had like 2 years of shameful silence. Yeah, but I truly believe that this time we're on the right path. But anyway, the right question is, okay, we can have Postgres and Snowflake. Why do we want it? And actually, how much is going to cost?
And this is the most humiliating panel I'm participating in ever. However, you know, the power here is there is a wingman to support me.
All right, so I'm a solution engineer. I don't know particular person should migrate from AWS Redshift to Snowflake Postgre. I can share the real life example from mBank. This is also my client. And yes, they currently using Postgre, because they need to keep some information which are really, really fast changing, etc. And just to avoid and speed up, remember that Snowflake is very popular on this regulated segment because everything is encrypted with the customer key. So you have a relatively secure environment when data are always encrypted on transition, on rest, with the customer key. And no one can reach this data outside of this secure box, secure world. So they decide just to cut the discussion with the security guys. They will decide to move firstly Postgre to the containers in Snowflake, just to avoid an unnecessary discussion that data are going outside of this secure environment. And they complain for the complexity that they need to keep these containers up and running, put some effort, etc. And now, because as I said before, today we started with this Postgre, we have a promise that they will participate on this public preview program, private preview program. Private preview features are for the early beginners. You need to raise the hand, hey, I want to test, and we will enable it for you. We never recommend to use it in production, etc. But the reason from the client side is that we'll keep everything in the secure environment. So we'll cut the discussion with the security team. And second thing, we'll reduce the complexity. So it will be much, much, much easier. So less effort on this. There was a first question. The second question was about?
I'm sorry, I need to press on because I have here a person that needs to hear this answer, and I would like to also know better. So, all right, I understand that we're cutting the complexity still. Like, people are going to ask, if we are going to move all our internal applications to Snowflake Postgres, what's the ROI? So how should we think about it?
Nobody knows, right? I mean, seriously, nobody knows, because each and every case we participate in, it provides, if you read the description of a case, like, okay, so here is a customer, here is the problem, what is the outcome? It's always different. It's always different. So it's really case by case by case. That's how it works.
All right, I got it. We'll have to work on this together. Yeah.
I want to share with you, because there was a clear point to Unistore. We now call it, it's actually in production, it's in GA, it's called Hybrid Tables. And IDC is my client also from here from Prague. They have huge developer center. They tested for us. It's working, but it's a bit expensive. So that's why we decided to follow this Postgres idea. It's maybe very, very, very easy, but sometimes, as Adam said, everybody has some own goals, and we need to adopt the proper tools to these goals. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Okay. So I'll try to find an easier one then. There's one thing. I was speaking with Lukas Schulte, head of DBT development right now and former CEO of SDF Labs last week. And like, to be honest, I feel there's a bit of like an elephant in the room between you two guys, because right now we have DBT Core integrated in Snowflake, which is great. Yes. They have this DBT Fusion running on DBT Cloud, which is great. But to my understanding, how is this partnership actually working? How they're getting paid? All right.
Come on, Wojtek, come on, step up. And by the way, so you know, right? Okay, sit down, please. so here is, okay, I need to tell you who this guy is first. So when I joined, so you know us better, right? So when I joined, we had to take a decision. Okay, and we'll get to DB2, but we had to take a decision. What do we do? Because the numbers are, this is a corporate business. It's not easy. So numbers are high. What do we do? And together with Wojciech and one person that is not here, he's back in Warsaw, we took a decision to go after FSI, financial services industry. So Wojciech is the person behind the financial services industry. This is probably the most complex thing, right? Particularly because of regulations. So just to say who Wojciech is, and that's where his knowledge is coming from. So he's all behind all of these, insurance, banking, and others. And now Wojciech put, this DBT question, whatever that is.
Yeah, so again, I can share my example, real life example. Yeah, so how our cooperation looks like. So actually, my cooperation with DBT is excellent. So we had a chance to test it, DBT and Apache Airflow combo at Banca Transilvania, and they says it's brilliant. We love it. And we had a chat. I asked my DBT colleagues to step in. We delivered a better together session, shared presentation, demo, etc. And the client decided we will not have it. Yeah. And again, because this is a heavily regulated client, it's a bank, they decide to start with DBT core, but the discussion about the DBT fusion or the cloud version, is on the table. They need to use this DBT core in Snowflake just to speed up, just to very quickly enroll something. But the future is that not only Snowflake will be in the picture. There will be a lot of different components. And this DBT will help not only on the Snowflake part, but on many different things. And to be absolutely honest with you, I didn't saw any single client which has everything on Snowflake. This is always a mixture of different things. So you need universal orchestrator, you need universal tools which cover Snowflake and many, many others. And DBT colleagues are really, really supportive. So even they have a special offer for Snowflake clients, really.
Well, I see it like really a powerful combo. Okay, guys, I'll try to go to the end of today's panel. We need some drinks.
Why looking at me?
You look
I need
like,
some
like
drinks.
a thirsty guy.
Anyway, so let's have the last two. There's like one question. I'll give you some time a bit to think and prepare regarding why Snowflake should be chosen over other platform, and specifically, what is Microsoft motivation to cooperate with Snowflake when they're trying to sell Fabric to everyone? And one to Rohlík, which I would like to go first, and that's if you had the time and resources to take your data platform to the next level, what would be your vision and for where would you like to move it?
Well, obviously, the vision would be that I just wake up in the morning, check Slack that everything is okay, and then I will continue sleep. but well, in a sense, this can happen because with the AI developments, it's really possible that in the future we will have like really, let's say, 1 or 2 data people in the company who will kind of like oversee everything and maybe make some decisions how to do the things, but everything else can be driven by the business people. We have some people from like the project or product owners who are able to write their own SQL queries, who have quite technical, deep technical knowledge, but they also have the knowledge of the business, and these people very often are able to write better queries or make better analysis than anybody else because they kind of like combine both knowledges into one. So maybe that's going to be the future, that we will just really serve as a let's say platform people, and we will make decisions on like where to move strategically, but everything else will be handled by business people and AI. So maybe that.
And
Wow.
And if I might respond, like maybe that's the answer to the what we're going to be doing with AI, right? Because you just said AI or this sort of technology basically allows each of us to reach into different neighboring areas that we may not be able to do without AI. So there is still, from my view, there is still two ways to look at it. The one that AI will be taking jobs away, and the other that it will actually enable each of us to do different things, like me building agents, for example.
But maybe to put it more practically, if there was like a combination of, let's say, Snowflake as a data warehouse, and let's say similar tool as a Kebula, but with like more open options how to control it, then it could really be a, let's say, platform where you can do everything, where you can do the data preparation, you can train the machine learning models, you can do simple automations of moving data from there and there. So maybe this will be enough. So if Snowflake will come with some smart orchestration tool that will combine everything together, maybe that's going to be it.
Or maybe they could buy Kebula. I mean, as an investor, I would really love it. All right. Thank you very much.
So before I pass mic to you, maybe again, by example, yeah? So I quote my clients only, yeah, very quickly. So the first one, Pavel Pavlik. So I mentioned already this name. So C-1 guy, director, responsible for new products in Varta. He says that very quickly he can change the LLMs. This is a very efficient platform. All the time he is able to follow the market standards and check how it is impacting the business. The second quote will be from Grzegorz Ostrowski. This is CDO from mBank, and he says, actually a similar story to you, because one day he received that information from business that the regulatory reporting, which is mandatory absolutely on the bank, it was the once per day. Now it will be every 4 hours. And he says that the clusters simply will die. And that's why they decide to move from Exadata to some cloud solutions. And they choose Snowflake because of predictability. It's relatively easy to scale and predict the cost.
All right. So first, on a serious note, first of all, if you consider in the future, you're going to end up on 2 clouds at certain point in time. Longer term, shorter term, doesn't matter. Some of the companies, they have a straight-off strategy. We go for 2. Even though, and despite the fact so 99% of loads are very often on one only, but they need to have an option because of the behavior, because of the need of having a commercial choice, right? And having the leverage also, one onto the other, so to keep competition alive, right? So we have no problem with that, right? Doesn't matter if it's GCP, if it's Azure or anyone else. That's number one. It really gives you a full flexibility. Of course, as Ondřej pointed out, there are some, and also Wojtek, there are also some minor differences that are coming out of the pace of deployment of different features in different zones, etc. But if we take a longer term perspective, the whole deployment is even across the world. Well, this is number one. Number two, Ondřej also mentioned it from Rohlík. Ondřej from Rohlík mentioned the cost predictability. It is very cost predictable, but also the other thing that's been mentioned by a friend of yours on the stage was concurrency. So you made this data available for all of the people, and they can use this data at different pace, in different teams, at different sort of crossroads of the complexity of a given organization, right? So that is definitely another one. Now, and lastly for AI, we've heard a lot from Sharry, right? But that's about, look, the case that Wojtek was describing, effectively, the way it worked was following. We have data, okay, we have Snowflake, we have data, we need to improve a certain business process. What do? You know, we take a given LLM and let's give it a try. A, B, C, D, E, F, G failed. So, because that was a short version of the story. You know, Llama dead, this dead, the other dead. Didn't do the good job. And all of a sudden, Mistral did a good job. Now it's Claude, but it all resides in Snowflake, right? So the thing is, you may pay $20 a token on OpenAI, or you can pay 30 cents for Llama. And the outcome is really, well, maybe predictable to some degree, but it's not necessarily that obvious. So what we did with this case, we went to our scientists, as we have not data scientists, but PhDs, because Snowflake bought several companies in Poland. So we have a very, very high density of people holding PhD title per square meter in the office. and as mentioned, this is the second largest R&D in the world, right? And you ask them this question, and they say, right? They say, and we've seen from Sharry how it's going to end up with. Believe it or not, but for some of our customers, what is happening now, for example, contact center, so people call for the offer, people ask, people send forms, etc. Now they are being, in real time, navigated in the conversation with the live person. So the agent, the calling agent, the human being, is actually navigated by AI of what needs to be spoken, talked about, right? So if you then imagine this single platform handles all this, well, and coming then to Microsoft question, it's very simple. I mean, Microsoft has made an attempt with Synapse, hasn't conquered the world. Then they've adopted third-party product into their stack. Now we're getting into the backpack. We're trying to find our place in this space. And thirdly, they're coming out with something else. But if something else is going to be successful, well, we'll see. We wish them all the best, of course. We're eager to compete. But then I believe you cannot ignore number one. That's why they serious about us now. You just can't ignore it. And probably Wojtek wants to say something, but I will not give him the microphone.
Well, I actually would like to add one thing to that. Because I think it's not just about the platform. I've been working with you like closely we were working together since 2019. But what people probably don't know in the public that if they can actually reach out to you and your team, and you can do it by use this QR code on the back of the badge. And we wouldn't be committed only to bring you the technology, but actually also to help you out, as Wojciech did with Varta, to solve your business cases and make your stack work for your company.
And we're currently working, I don't know if these particular customers are in the room, they're at least on the list of invitees, but we're currently working with, there is a lot of customers that use Snowflake in the Czech Republic. We recently, a month ago, have won a very big brand here. I don't even know if I can mention the brand, but it's a very significant one. Each and every person in this room knows the brand. But then, if you think of converting on-prem, particularly SQL on-prem, that's so obvious to come to us, because for us it's a click of a button, right? Then if you think of engaging on the business end, that's what Giuliano said, like you want to accelerate a given process, particularly omni-channel process, because the omni-channel process generates revenue. It's directly connected to revenue. Then we hit to help. And it's a team of roughly 20 people out of Warsaw. But as I already told Ondřej in a side chat, we are planning to be present in Prague very soon. So it will be way easier with us. It is easy with us, we fly all the time, but it will be way, way easier to collaborate with us.
All right. There was one last question, and that was if you guys like beer. And I think this is the right one to end this discussion with. So
we are Polish people.
So let's do it.
May I? The last thing. Guys, last question to today evening. What is the name of the software, what we should call the software developed without any AI tool? Crafted software. Thank you very much. Let's have a beer.